With the uncertainty surrounding us now, where does my guest today seek refuge? He is E.B. Tucker, the author of Why Gold, Why Now, and he joins me now. E.B., good to see you again.
Thanks for having me.
So I thought this would be a fun exercise to go over with you, E.B. I know your heart lies with gold, but if I were to give you $100,000 today, where do you invest? Gold, silver, or Bitcoin? Explain, E.B. Tucker.
Well, you think my heart lies with gold, but what you don't know is I'm kind of a mercenary of sorts. Gold is in a secular bull market. So what that means is when something's in a secular bull market, you don't really try to get involved in these ups and downs of small corrections. You want to find things that are in a secular bull market. Let me give you an example. When tech stocks started rallying a decade ago, should you have said after a year, well, I don't know, they don't look so, like maybe the most is gone from them. Maybe I'll pull my money out. No, you were in a secular rally and you just sit tight and you be right, sit tight is what they say, right? So we look at gold today, we were going into, earlier in the week, the election, the uncertainty, we had gold gyrating. And what was happening is they'd say, maybe Biden's going to win. Oh, okay, more stimulus. Well, maybe Trump's going to win. Oh, okay. No stimulus. You got to be kidding me. The real people on this market, the real people that know how to position, we're saying it doesn't matter. The reason why it doesn't matter is because stimulus, good for gold. No stimulus, bankruptcy lawyers are going to make a fortune. So basically you're in this scenario where these assets are going to go. Now, gold, silver, Bitcoin, let's pull silver back from that because silver is really a trading commodity. I'm fond of silver, but silver is not the kind of place that you put like huge amounts of money. So let's just say gold and Bitcoin, and we're going to be splitting hairs on kind of the same fundamental idea, and we can get into that deeper in a second.
Well, I'm happy you brought up that point about gold because I interviewed many people on if there's a Biden win or a Trump win, and I felt like I was repeating myself, basically saying, does it matter because the landscape remains the same, right? Trillions of dollars of debt. No sign of QE ending anytime soon. This negative interest rate environment we're living in all bode well for gold, correct?
Well, I want to give people something that they can disrupt every dinner party they go to this weekend. All right,
Perfect.
There's $12 trillion worth of gold in the entire world, according to Pierre Lassonde's World Gold Council. That's all the gold ever mined in history. The U.S. spent over $6 trillion this year, and all we heard about was we need more. We need more. We're going to starve without the stimulus. We need more. And what did we spend all that money on? Dental shields, plastic coverings, airline bailouts, checks to people so they could put the money into Robinhood accounts. Okay, that money's all gone. Forget about it. It's not coming back. Okay, so when people start thinking about this, ask yourself, what's going to happen next year? The federal government already is going to spend $3.5 trillion plus, maybe more. And all they're talking about now is it's 0% rates. We can just do MMT and talk forever. Now, one thing here, I don't want people to think we're going in different directions. In my book, Why Gold, Why Now, I lay out these events are coming in sequence. So if you read the book, you're not surprised by this. You're going to have these things start happening like dominoes, and you're going to have MMT. You're going to pay people not to work. You're going to have negative interest rates. You're going to have a digital currency. We lay all this out, and it's all happening right in front of our very eyes. The question is, will you prepare or will you not prepare? Because people that do see this coming and they're ready, and many people don't, and they're just confused with every single headline.
Okay, so how are you preparing?
All right, so this is an environment where things are happening very quickly. As you know, we're having scenarios that used to take months and quarters to play out are happening in weeks. You can get very confused if you don't have a plan. So in the book, at the end of the book, I talk about what I've done with my net worth. I feel like gold's heading higher to $2,500 by the end of the year. Okay, we'll come back on in the beginning of the year and give you a forecast for next year because we'll know more as things sort out. There's a lot of uncertainty in what will everything look like when people start getting a feel for legislative changes that are going to be coming. You still don't know. Even though you know some of the outcomes, you don't know exactly what will be possible. So we'll get a feel for that. We'll know what's coming. Now, how do you play that? Do you buy gold, and make a few $100? I don't think so. The gold that you have is your insurance policy. Royalties offer a unbelievable chance to take advantage of a rising gold price. Now, with gold, it's one set. People get tired of hearing about that. That's why I joined the board of Nova Royalty, which is capitalizing on the trend of the electrification of this new economy. So, I mean, copper and nickel are in high demand, and royalties are the way to play it. I don't know a business in the whole world that's more lucrative than the royalty business. I just don't. And with Bitcoin, I found no way to play the royalty side of it. I mean, I visited the biggest Ethereum miner in the world. You know, I still couldn't figure out a way to create a royalty on that, you know, so I ran into trouble. And this should let you know why I ended up where I ended up with my investment portfolio. And so far, so good. We've had, you know, tremendous gains. I mean, Metal is up, it's been up 1,000%, right? I mean, gold's up 50%, Metal up 1,000 in August from its inception, less than 4 years. That's pretty amazing.
Well, that's why and you mentioned Bitcoin before and how, okay, if we take silver out of the equation, but I have a chart that shows Bitcoin, gold, silver from the start of the year. So I know I'm going to get those emails from those crypto folks saying, well, yeah, you know, how do you pick gold over Bitcoin?
Okay, so think about this. With Bitcoin, you've got a $300 billion market cap, which assumes about 14,000. And then let's just say, you know, 21 million in Bitcoin. There's debates over how much of that Bitcoin is tradable, and you know, there's all this stuff here and there, but it's about 1/40th the size of the gold market, you know, which is $12 trillion. And so you can say from one side of the coin, you can say this is a serious opportunity for us to see parity, you know, in this asset class. But it's all, how are you going to play it? You know, are you going to buy a bunch of Bitcoin and hope that it goes up 40 times to meet the value of gold? That's making a lot of very serious assumptions that I'm not sure I'm ready to make. Whereas with gold, I'm looking at 1,000% gains in the value of gold royalties when gold went up 50%. I mean, think about that. So, I mean, you had tremendous upside to a 50% move in gold. So that's at the end of the day, you say, what do you really want here? Do you want to buy Bitcoin at 14,000 and ride it up to 30,000 or something? Okay. I mean, there's room in a reasonable person's portfolio for Bitcoin. The chart looks amazing. It's headed higher. There's room for that in the portfolio. But the reality is that it's similar to physical gold, where it's not really an investment, it's an asset.
I think, you know, when I'm speaking to people, they think that they'll get richer quicker from Bitcoin. Whereas look how long it took us to get to $2,000 gold.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Now the volatility is different, right? But that's
because
the
we
argument.
don't have much time, right? Like, I mean, I need to be rich by next week. I mean, I don't have any time for, you know, the old-fashioned way my granddad taught me was to get rich was to spend less than you earn and invest the difference wisely. That's out the window. You know, we need something like in the next couple of weeks where we can retire. I mean, that's the mentality of the average Robin Hood trader, right? I mean, but as we know, that's also the type of mentality that usually ends in tears. Okay, but they'll find that out on their own. So the reality is that, yeah, I mean, I don't think I think it's totally sensible right now to have a Bitcoin position. But the question is, when you say, I don't have enough time, okay, when we started Metalla less than 4 years ago, it was $1.20 a share Canadian, and it was over $13 in August, okay? That's over 1,000% gain. Now, that's less than 4 years. Now, I don't know what these other people are investing in, but I haven't found many scenarios where things like that happen in the investment world. I mean, okay, you might have bought some Neo coin or something for 8 cents and then it ran up to some huge number. I get it. That could happen every now and then. But would you really have put $1 million into that? I mean, you would have been insane to bet that way.
And I could say the same for some gold mining stocks, right?
Well, that's a different story. Right, because remember, in the book I walk through, there's a clear distinction, because you can read all the newsletters you want. People don't characterize the mining business properly. They talk about the royalty business like they're financing mines. It's not the case. With Metalla, we learned that there were thousands of royalties sitting out there, and we went out and started buying them up. And when gold price goes higher, the valuation of that explodes.
You mentioned your grandfather. I know he was a huge mentor to you. So are you more in that camp, maybe, that you're not going out and buying those $7 Starbucks drinks, you're making coffee at home and saving?
Well, somewhere in between. I think as long as you avoid life's really big, bad decisions, you can buy lattes for everyone you know for hundreds of years and never run out. I mean, buying a house at the top of the market, you know, right? I mean, you don't do these things. And
how about Ferrari at, midlife crisis?
Well, I'm a slow car guy. So, I mean, I have a classic Land Rover with a diesel engine. So, I mean, but it's a luxury car, but I don't mind spending on myself. I find that there's a point in life where if you're not enjoying yourself, you have to ask, what are you doing?
EB. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point? What's the point of all this? Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just end. Bring it back home with the gold price. You mentioned 2,500. For those folks who maybe missed your other interviews in the past, you correctly called $1,900 with the timing and everything. 2,500 by year end is your new target. I'm pulling up a gold chart, gold futures chart right now. Chart looks good here, EB. It showing a lot more room to run, higher highs, higher lows. That's what we want to see in a chart. So you're sticking to this call, 2,500?
Yeah, things are moving very quickly, and any technician you ask to look at that chart will tell you it's going to snap at some point. We don't know when, but it's going to snap. And I'm surprised gold's not a lot higher already. I mean, with everything that we've seen this year, I'm shocked that it's not 2,500 today. It's going to go, and let me tell you something important, Daniela. It's not going to go twice. It's going to go, and that's going to be it. So it doesn't go and then come back and pick you up and then go again. I mean, you have to position it for these moves in any asset class. You position for the move and it goes, and there's not a second chance. I mean, so gold's going to move, royalty stocks are going to move. I mean, this is the way I'm looking at it.
All right. Thank you so much. EB Tucker, why gold? Why now? Thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. And thank you for watching. We'll have much more for you on Stansberry Research. In the meantime, follow us on all our social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. We are all there. Thanks for watching. I'm Daniela Cambone.